Welcome back, everyone. This is Miss Amanda.
And Dr. Nick.
And today we're going to talk to you a little bit about credit and debt and how it's not all that we have been taught it to be.
Absolutely. So if you're anything like us, then when you were young, you were taught that credit cards are terrible and that you have to be careful with them and that debt was just awful. You should strive to never have any.
Maybe from society or your parents, you've been told that using credit will give you a bad credit score, or that going into debt can ruin your future. If you do use credit cards responsibly and use your debt in a smart way, you can actually become wealthy from it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, if you're anything again like us, then you're a little bit older now, and then you're realizing, you actually need to apply for loans for certain things like housing or even a car, and then you realize that your credit history is actually very important, and so it's actually very important that you understand what goes into your credit score and report and how to work on those things so that you're not stuck when it comes down the road to those major life events. So I think just breaking down first the score might be the most useful thing. So there are actually just four main things that go into what is a credit score. One of which is your number of on-time payments. And that's actually one of the most important, like they're not all weighted equally. And so just making sure that you're using your credit card responsibly, using like you would like a debit card or cash, making sure that when you put things on your card, you know you're gonna pay it off. Because again, on-time payments is the single most important factor. And then after that, it's the total amount of credit you have available to you. So if you have, like 10 different credit cards with like a whole bunch of different credit lines, you're gonna have a higher percent score than somebody that only has one card with a very small credit line. That's something that does build over time, and the longer you have your cards, the more, generally speaking, they're gonna give you in terms of your credit lines. The third thing is actually just playing right off of that is how much of that line do you use? It's called the utilization ratio, but that's just a fancy way of saying, hey, how much does this person have available to them and how much are they regularly using? So if you're somebody that is using all of your total credit line, then that looks worse than somebody that has a lot of credit available, but they only need to use a little bit of it. And then lastly is your overall credit history, like length. And that just basically means that, okay, well, how long generally do you have a history open of credit cards? So do you have one card that's 10 years old? Do you have a bunch of cards that's only 2 years old? What is the average length of history of your credit cards?
Now thinking about this, we don't want you to rush out and sign up for a bunch of credit cards because there are so many different things that each card offers, and honestly, not all of them are great. But picking and choosing between the ones that have the best benefits for you is definitely important, and we will detail two of those, one from Discover and one from American Express. So make sure you are reading all of the information before you do sign up for credit cards, because even if your bank, for example, offers a card, it might not honestly have the best percentage rate.
So the percent yields that they give you on return for having your for like cash back. So going into how much these credit cards benefit you, again, there are benefits and there are drawbacks to some of them. The most important thing to look at is what are you gaining from using that credit card, and going into that, the two that we're going to recommend are sort of like a personal experience, because again, we were learning through this process ourselves, and then we found that if you're starting to build your credit, then there are certain banks and credit card companies that will not offer you the best deals initially. They will later when you've built up your credit, but initially it's hard to get a good, decent benefit set up. And so Discover was actually great because they require almost very little on your end to proving your established credit history. So it's great if you're just now starting out, because they will likely approve you, and then you can start working on that credit like we were talking about. The second one that Amanda was talking about, American Express, so that's going to be dependent on you guys. American Express, they have some really, really great offers of like sign-up bonuses, but they're also a little bit more selective with who they will establish credit with, and so it may not be something that's easy to get early on. But I found another one, Credit One, through like their bank, that they'll offer you also a credit card. And both of these two that we're recommending, Discover and Credit One, they have no annual fees, which is great. That means that there are cards that you can just sign up, you can get, hold, and use, and be building your credit without having to incur costs to do so. Okay, and then as you build up your credit, again, now you're able to apply for these important things like, you know, housing loans and car loans, and you'll get better rates because your credit score is better. And then you'll also be getting offers all the time for all these other cards that have better sign-up bonuses, like American Express or Chase or what have you.
And before we jump into the debt category for housing, for example, one of the fun benefits of holding certain cards is travel hacking. Certain cards can give you mileage points or hotel points where you can save them and have a vacation or necessary travel expense essentially free. So just, picking and choosing through those different offers to see which ones have the best sign-on bonuses for that or which ones have the best points back really could benefit you in different areas of life.
Absolutely. So in the short term, we're talking about building up your credit, but when you get an established credit score report where you're kind of, you've been around the game a little bit longer and you kind of are now getting all these different offers, they continue to benefit you in that sense, in that all these great sign-on bonuses and additional bonuses for having these credit cards allow you to, like Amanda was saying, hack a lot of vacations and travel to the point where you spend very little. Now those cards, again, they're going to come a little bit later, if you're already established, and additionally they do tend to have annual fees and such, but the annual fees compared to how much benefit you will get out of them, very, very minuscule in the long haul.
So we will put a link down below for the Discover card as well as the Credit One. We also are going to put a link down below for an account that Nick likes to use for purchasing cryptocurrency. If you want to tell him a little bit about that.
Yeah, so another type of account, and it depends again on you guys, our audience, sort of where you're at with cryptocurrency. My firm belief is that it is proven itself for a long enough period of time now that I can say that it's not going away. And so I'm starting to put a little bit of money in cryptocurrency every month, and I choose BlockFi in order to store that cryptocurrency, because instead of me having it in just like another app like Robinhood or Webull or whatever, if I own my cryptocurrency with BlockFi, they're giving me like 6% or so annual return just for holding that same thing in BlockFi as opposed to somewhere else. And just to give you an idea, most accounts that you're going to have, like savings accounts, they're going to give you like maybe 0.5% right now in terms of like interest that you get back. 6% annually, that's like 12 times more than what you're getting in other places. So I mean, if that's something that interests you, we'll leave a link for that as well down below.
Now let's talk a little bit about the big scary subject of debt. It really shouldn't be as scary unless you are out of control and using it in an irresponsible way. But debt can also be a really great thing. For example, whenever you're looking to purchase a home, it can be an easy way to get wealthy because you are borrowing that money from a bank.
Yeah, so this kind of gets a little bit into sort of like the different types of debt. Mm-hmm. And I think what most people think of when they think of debt is like toxic debt. Like debt that is just costing you money every single month and doesn't actually gain you any sort of asset or any sort of positive benefit. It's just something, if you max out your credit card and you bought something you really shouldn't have, maybe you bought a super expensive sound system or something, or like a big TV that you put out on a credit card, or you ladies, maybe if you bought some shoes that maybe you shouldn't have bought maybe. And every single month you are maxed out, you can't make the payments, so you're paying like minimum payment. You just have this debt that is accruing and you can't seem to get out of it because it is costing you more and more every single month. Now that's bad because it's not actually getting anything back, but like Amanda was saying, some debt can actually be leveraged to make you wealthy. For example, real estate. There's a reason why real estate is so good. It's because you can take let's say a $300,000 property, $500,000 property, whatever, you can put 10% of it down as your own money. So whether that's $30,000 or $50,000, if you don't have necessarily that much and you do like even less, 5% or so, you take a fraction of the money, $10,000, $15,000 of your own, you put that down, and then you get a loan from the bank. The bank loans you the remainder of the money, okay? So now with the debt from the bank, you own this property that is worth $300,000 to $500,000. So all of a sudden, your investment of $15,000 or $30,000 is now worth up to $500,000. So there is nothing in the world that will allow you to do something like that to that degree.
So, this brings up the question of, well, should I pay off all of my debt now? That is going to increase your credit score, and we did give you the, 4 key ways to maintain and boost your credit score. So in our opinion, there are different opinions on paying off your debt, but in our opinion, we absolutely think you should try to pay off your debts before you go into, the world of investing in large quantities. So probably, start paying off the debt and quit putting things on cards that are living outside of your means. Definitely pay it off and try to keep up with those payments to increase your credit score, and then be able to venture out into the world of real estate.
Yeah, so we are, again, as we're going through this, we're trying to share our experience with you guys. And the number one thing that actually we did first was we paid off all of our credit card debts between the two of us. And again, we are proponents of utilizing the tools you have available to you to make you more wealthy, not to sort of drag you down and have a worse quality of life. So we think that if you have credit card debts or other debts, again, those toxic debts, things that are costing you every month, that is borrowed money that you have a commitment to make sure you take care of those things first, and then once you're free of those things, you have extra cash flow every single month that you can put towards these wealth building opportunities.
Yes, exactly. So again, we are gonna put all of those links down below. Feel free to check them out. And it's been a great time talking to you about credit and debt. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. And we hope you continue on this journey with us.
Absolutely. So again, guys, take it easy. Let us know what types of credit cards or offers are your favorites, some things that maybe you've learned over the years, some tricks of the trade, and we'd love to hear from you guys. So until our next video, we'll see you guys later.
Bye. What do you think?
It'll do.
It'll do.
It'll do.
Do we need to take a picture?
Yeah, we should do that. Was I recording?
What? Did you?
I think so. Probably.
Oopsie.
Yeah, because if I push it again.